The Chernobyl Echo, a symphony of spectral terror. A desolate landscape. Barren trees claw at the sky, their skeletal branches reaching towards the heavens as if pleading for salvation. Buildings stand as hollow husks, windows like vacant eyes staring out at the wasteland. The air hangs heavy with an eerie silence, broken only by the mournful cries of the wind. This is Pripyat, once a bustling city, now a ghost town forever scarred by the Chernobyl disaster. Tonight, dear listeners, your nightmare maestro invites you to join a doomed expedition into this forsaken land. A team of filmmakers, eager to capture the chilling atmosphere and unravel the mysteries of Chernobyl, will soon discover that some truths are better left buried. Meet our intrepid crew: Marina, the ambitious director, her camera a weapon against the unknown; Nikolai, the grizzled sound engineer, his ears tuned to the whispers of the dead; Olga, the sensitive historian, haunted by the echoes of the past; and Dmitry, the cynical cameraman, his lens capturing the gruesome beauty of decay. This is it. Marina's voice crackles over the radio, a forced bravado in her tone. The heart of the exclusion zone. Let's make history. They enter Pripyat, their boots crunching on shattered glass, their breath fogging in the cold air. The city's once vibrant colors have faded to a sickly yellow, the buildings now grotesque monuments to human folly. The crew sets up camp in an abandoned school, its classrooms filled with children's drawings and discarded toys, a haunting reminder of the lives interrupted by the disaster. As night falls, the silence is broken by the creak of rusty swings in the playground outside. Dmitry, drawn by a morbid curiosity, peers out the window, his camera capturing the spectral figures of children playing in the moonlight. "Did you see that?" he whispers, his voice trembling. The others dismiss his claims, attributing it to his overactive imagination. But the nightmare maestro knows the truth. The children are real, their laughter a chilling echo of the innocence lost. The next day, the crew ventures deeper into the zone, their Geiger counters clicking with increasing urgency. They reach the skeletal remains of the power plant, its towering reactor a silent testament to the horrors that unfolded. Inside the control room, the air is thick with a palpable sense of dread. The dials and gauges still flicker, their readings a haunting reminder of the disaster's scale. "Do you hear that?" Olga asks, her voice barely a whisper. "It sounds like voices." The others listen intently, their hearts pounding in their chests. A faint chorus of whispers fills the air, a chilling symphony of pain and despair. As the whispers grow louder, the crew realizes they are not alone. Spectral figures emerge from the shadows, their bodies translucent and their eyes glowing with an eerie light. They are the ghosts of Chernobyl, the victims of the nuclear fire, their souls forever trapped in the purgatory of the exclusion zone. "We are the forgotten," one of the figures rasps, its voice a chilling echo. "We are the damned." The nightmare maestro reveals the true horror of Chernobyl. It is not the radiation that lingers, but the tormented souls of the dead, seeking retribution for the sins of the living. The figures step closer, their translucent forms shimmering in the dim light. A young girl with pigtails, her face etched with a mournful expression. A man in a fireman's uniform, his skin blistered and burnt. A woman clutching a child, her eyes filled with a mother's despair. "We want you to hear our stories," the girl whispers, her voice barely a breath. "We want the world to remember our suffering," the fireman adds, his voice raspy and pained. The crew, their faces pale with terror, back away, their cameras capturing every haunting detail. They have stumbled upon a chorus of the damned, a spectral testament to the disaster's devastating toll. The ghosts lead the crew through the abandoned city, their spectral fingers tracing the contours of the buildings, their whispers filling the air with tales of terror and loss. They visit the hospital, where the specter of a nurse wanders the empty halls, her arms cradling a phantom infant. They enter the amusement park, where the ghostly laughter of children mingles with the creaking of rusting Ferris wheels. "We were happy here," the girl with pigtails says, her voice tinged with a melancholic longing. But then the fire came, and everything changed. The nightmare maestro weaves a tapestry of sorrow and despair, the voices of the dead painting a vivid picture of the chaos and suffering that engulfed Pripyat in the aftermath of the explosion. As the night deepens, the hauntings become more intense. The crew members experience chilling hallucinations, their own fears and anxieties amplified by the spectral presence. Dmitri, the cameraman, sees his own body lying lifeless on the ground, his camera lens shattered. Olga, the historian, relives the moment of the explosion, her ears filled with the deafening roar of the reactor's meltdown. Marina, the director, sees her loved ones consumed by the flames, their screams echoing in her ears. "This place is driving us mad," Nikolai whispers, his voice trembling. "We need to leave." But the ghosts are not finished with them. They want their stories to be heard, their suffering to be acknowledged. They want the world to remember the true cost of human ambition. The crew, their minds teetering on the edge of sanity, stumbles upon a hidden bunker beneath the power plant. It is a cold, sterile place, filled with eerie machinery and ominous warning signs. They discover a series of video logs left behind by the scientists who worked at the plant. The logs reveal a chilling truth: the disaster was not an accident, but a calculated risk taken in the pursuit of scientific advancement. "They knew the risks," Marina whispers, her voice filled with disgust. "They knew what could happen, but they did it anyway." The nightmare maestro reveals the true villain of this tale, not the radiation, nor the ghosts, but the hubris of humanity, the arrogance that led to such catastrophic consequences. The crew, their hearts heavy with the weight of this revelation, decides to leave Pripyat. But the ghosts are not done with them. They want to ensure that their message is heard, that their sacrifice is not forgotten. As they make their way back to their van, the ground begins to shake, the air filling with a deafening roar. The power plant's ghostly visage appears before them, its skeletal structure wreathed in flames, its chimneys belching toxic smoke. "Remember us," the voices of the dead cry out, their ghostly forms merging with the rising inferno. "Remember our pain." The crew's world turns into a living nightmare. The spectral figures of the damned surround them, their touch icy, their voices a symphony of anguish and fury. Marina, overwhelmed by guilt, sees the charred figures of her loved ones reaching for her, their silent accusations piercing her soul. Nikolai, his ears ringing with the screams of the dying, stumbles blindly through the smoke-filled corridors. Olga, her mind fractured by the echoes of the past, relives the terror of that fateful night, her body racked with phantom burns. The crew's equipment malfunctions, their cameras capturing distorted images of spectral figures and swirling shadows. The microphones pick up disembodied voices, their whispers a chorus of blame and accusation. "You came here seeking answers," a voice hisses, "but you have only awakened our pain." The nightmare maestro reveals the true terror of the exclusion zone. It is a prison for the damned, a place where the past refuses to die, where the echoes of tragedy continue to reverberate through time. In a moment of desperation, Dmitri, the cameraman, turns his lens on himself, capturing his own descent into madness. His eyes widen in terror as he sees his reflection morph into a grotesque, decaying figure. "I'm becoming one of them," he screams, his voice echoing through the empty corridors. The others, witnessing his transformation, realize that they too are succumbing to the zone's insidious influence. Their bodies begin to show signs of radiation sickness, their minds teetering on the edge of the abyss. In a final, desperate bid for survival, they seek refuge in the hospital's basement. They barricade themselves in, hoping to find a way out of this living hell. But the darkness follows them, seeping through the cracks in the walls, the whispers growing louder and more insistent. "You cannot escape your fate," a voice taunts. "You are ours now." In the cramped confines of the basement, the crew's fears manifest into tangible horrors. The walls bleed, the pipes groan, and the shadows take on monstrous forms. They turn on each other, their trust shattered, their sanity eroded. Accusations fly, friendships crumble, and the bonds that once held them together disintegrate in the face of overwhelming terror. One by one, they succumb to the darkness. Dmitri, his mind consumed by the visions of his own demise, takes his own life. Olga, haunted by the ghosts of the children, wanders off into the night, her laughter a chilling echo in the deserted streets. Only Marina and Nikolai remain, their bodies racked with radiation sickness, their spirits broken by the relentless torment. As their final moments approach, Marina turns to Nikolai, her eyes filled with regret. "I'm sorry," she whispers, "I never should have brought us here." Nikolai, his voice barely a rasp, reaches out to touch her hand. "It's not your fault," he says. "We were all drawn to this place, to this darkness." In their final moments, they find solace in each other's company, their shared humanity a beacon of light in the encroaching darkness. The camera, its battery flickering, captures their final moments. Marina and Nikolai, their bodies failing, huddle together, their warmth of fleeting comfort against the encroaching cold. Their eyes, though dim with exhaustion, meet one last time, a silent farewell exchanged between two souls on the precipice of oblivion. The camera lens fogs over, the last image a distorted blur of intertwined figures, a final testament to the power of human connection in the face of ultimate despair. The Nightmare Maestro reveals the chilling epilogue. The footage captured by Dmitri's camera is discovered years later by a group of urban explorers. It becomes a viral sensation, a haunting reminder of the Chernobyl disaster and the terrors that still linger in its wake. The world watches in horror as Marina and Nikolai's final moments are replayed, their suffering a cautionary tale of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the haunting power of the past. The ruins of Pripyat remain, a silent monument to the tragedy that unfolded there. But the ghosts of Chernobyl have not been silenced. They continue to wander the deserted streets, their whispers a chilling reminder of the price of human arrogance. Some say that on certain nights, when the moon is full and the wind howls through the empty buildings, the echoes of their voices can still be heard, a symphony of spectral terror that haunts the dreams of the living. The Nightmare Maestro concludes this chilling symphony with a final, haunting note. The story of Chernobyl is not just a tale of nuclear disaster, but a cautionary tale of humanity's reckless pursuit of knowledge and power. It is a story of the forgotten victims, their voices echoing through time, demanding to be heard. It is a story of the enduring power of the human spirit, even in the face of unimaginable horror. And as the maestro bids you farewell, he leaves you with a chilling question. What horrors lie hidden in the shadows of our own past? And are we doomed to repeat the mistakes of those who came before us? Subscribe for more chilling tales from the Nightmare Maestro.